Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using Not Too Shabby's Easy Wonder die sets. They currently have two different sets. Set number 1 is on the right and set number 2 is on the left. This is one large die. Set number 1 cuts out 9 different pieces and all of the pieces have that faux stitch detail. The die is just under 6 by 6 inches, so it works perfectly with 6 by 6 paper pads. You simply run it through your die cut machine once and you end up with all 9 different pieces. There are add-on sets for each of the Easy Wonder dies. Here's a look at Easy Wonder die set number 1, the add-on. So there are several different stitched rectangles, stitched circles, some sentiment banners, a bunch of hearts, and it also includes the sentiment hugs. Now here's a look at the Easy Wonder die set number 2. Again, this is one large die, and this die cuts out the sentiment thanks, along with lots of other fun pieces. And here's a look at the Easy Wonder die set number 2 add-on. It includes an outline for the individual letters of the word thanks. There's some ovals, hearts, some fun little stitch detail, and 4 other sentiments. Just for you, handmade, love you, and miss you. In this video, I'm only using the Easy Wonder die set number 1 and the add-on set. For pattern paper and ephemera, I have some fun new products from Not Too Shabby shop. The pattern paper is super cute. It's called What's Buzzing. This is a 6 by 6 paper pad. Includes 24 sheets. It's double-sided and you'll get 12 different designs. So I'll flip over 2 of them so you can see all the fun patterns. Some of the papers are yellow, black, and white, and others have pink, yellow, black, and white. Really cute collection. So lots of bees, there are polka dots, stripes, flowers, some hexagons, more bees, more flowers. And there are 2 different stripe designs. One looks like a hand-drawn line and the other is a straight stripe. So there's a look at the 12 different designs in the What's Buzzing paper pad. Bee themes seem to be a favorite, and I think this will be a popular paper collection. I'm also using an ephemera pack, and this coordinates beautifully with the pattern paper. It's called Spring Gnomes. I'll lay them out on my craft table so you can get an idea of what's included. Lots of adorable gnomes. Plenty of small bee images. There are sunflowers, bird houses, and the ephemera is a nice heavyweight. The gnomes are all super cute, covered in beautiful flowers. Some have more bee-themed items. So I'll be using these for images. There really aren't any sentiments. There's just the one gnome holding a sign that says, "Be happy." I selected 4 pattern papers, decided to go with a pink, yellow, black, and white. And I'll use the Easy Wonder die set with all 4 pieces. Now, depending on the design you're using, sometimes they are direction specific. You may want to pay attention to which direction you have your die. There's a long, narrow strip, and I decided that would be vertical on my card. So I'm making sure to attach it on the pattern paper with that strip vertical and the designs upright. There are a couple little cutout areas. That's where some of the banners are. And I'll take advantage of that little spot, use a piece of tacky tape to hold the die in place. I'll show the pieces in a moment, but I wanted to show what's left over from the 6 by 6 paper. Basically, 0 waste. And here are all the pattern paper die cut pieces. I placed them in the large craft stack tray from Spellbinders. To cut out the dies, you can use a manual or an electric machine. You just want to make sure the opening is a little bit bigger than 6 inches so the die will fit through. I use my Sizzix Big Shot Switch Plus machine since it has a nice wide opening, but I also tried the die with my manual Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine and both cut out perfectly. And if you're not aware, the Switch machine is electric. Using all the different die cut pieces from Easy Wonder die set number 1, I'm going to create 3 different card designs. And I'll make 4 cards from each design. Now you could change this up even more by cutting out more pattern paper pieces. You just want to make sure they all work well together. I grabbed 4 A2 size card bases and I'm just mixing and matching the different pieces until I'm happy with each of the designs. This first card design will feature the long, narrow vertical strip, the frame with the circle on the inside, and using the large die, I will cut out the smaller circle to fit inside from white cardstock. Decided I'll also add one of the smaller banners. I like that there are 3 small banners on the die and then 1 longer banner. The one disadvantage of using direction-specific pattern paper, you will end up with a few pieces where the images are sideways or upside down. The only pieces that I really noticed the design being the wrong direction are some of the banners. My focus was mainly that long vertical strip. With the circles and squares, it really doesn't matter since you can rotate the die cut pieces. For the second card design, I'm adding the square, the circle, and another banner. Just mixing and matching, making sure I don't have duplicates of the same pattern paper. And then the final design, I really just have some banners and that tiny stitched rectangle piece left. So I'll add the large banner, a small banner, and then the small rectangle piece. For the background of my cards, I could use more pattern paper from the paper collection, but I don't want it to end up too busy. So instead, I'll be using some solid cardstock. And I selected some pretty pearlescent cardstock from my stash. I'll also layer the very background on black cardstock since it works perfectly with the pattern paper. I've cut out all of the pieces and I have them in the smaller craft stack tray from Spellbinders. It has a lid so it keeps everything together. I've also included some of the ephemera pieces. I'm only assembling one of each design with you, but then I'll show the rest of the cards. At the end of this video, I end up with 24 cards using 8 pieces of pattern paper and of course lots of cardstock. This die is great for mass producing. For the background of my card, I selected this very light blush pearlescent cardstock. I believe this is from Tonic Studio. Probably discontinued by this point. I cut that piece to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and my cardstock layer is A2 size. I'll add the pink vertical strip with yellow flowers and lots of bees on the left side of the card, about 1/2 inch in from the left side. Then I'll layer the background on black cardstock, add my card front onto a card base. Next, I'll add the circle frame, put barely art glue on the back, adhere it in place, and it's about 3/4 of an inch down from the top of the card. I mentioned earlier using the die and I cut out the stitch circle that fits perfectly inside the frame. I use white cardstock. I'll put glue on the back, adhere it in place. And for this card, I selected one of the gnomes holding a bouquet of beautiful sunflowers. I will pop it up using foam dimension. I grabbed scrapbook.com's large and small foam squares in the 1mm thickness, so it adds just a tiny bit of dimension. I'll remove the release paper, add the gnome inside the circle, closer toward the bottom. Now I'll add the banner, and I wasn't sure if I wanted it on the right or left side, but with the little pom-pom on his hat, it really didn't fit on the right side, so instead I'll add it on the left side. And when adhering the banner down, I have the very top edge, about 1/8 of an inch, going off the top of the circle frame. For a sentiment, I'm using Not Too Shabby's Mini Messages stamp set. This is a great set filled with sentiments that you can use throughout the year. There are even a few holiday sentiments on there. I selected For You, used black ink, stamped it on white cardstock. I'll cut the right side at an angle and tuck the sentiment behind the gnome on the left side. So there are my 4 finished cards using the first card design. Kept them very simple, simply added the image and a sentiment. And you could step them up by adding bling. So here's a look at card design number 2. Already selected the ephemera pieces, and I'll be adding the sentiment hello. I used the same mini messages stamp set for the sentiment. I'll assemble one with you, then show the other 3 cards. For the background of my card, I'm using the same light blush pearlescent cardstock. And this piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. For a little extra detail, I'll put some Love from Lizzie peel-offs on the left side. This is the pinstripe style in gold. I'm using the widest and the medium width. To help get them nice and straight, I'm following the grid on my craft mat. I always cut the peel-offs just a little bit longer than the panel, then I'll wrap the ends around the back, and that just ensures that they won't fall off later. We'll put adhesive on the back, layer this piece on black cardstock, add more ATG tape, and put my card front onto a card base. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. So this is the card design with 2 banners and the small rectangle. I guess I'm assembling them out of order, but that's okay. I'll start by adhering the larger banner about 1 inch up from the bottom. I put barely art glue on the back, I'll adhere it in place. And I'm tilting my card up slightly, making sure that banner's on nice and straight. There's always that little bit of time before the glue dries to get everything adjusted. Then I'll add the small stitched rectangle die cut in the upper right-hand corner. This is about 1/4 of an inch down on the pearlescent paper. Next, I'll add a large stitched circle die cut from white cardstock. And this die is in the add-on set for the Easy Wonder die set number 1. The final piece is the small banner, and I'll add it underneath the larger banner, and part of it will sit on top of the circle. To help keep it nice and level, I'll add some scrap pieces of cardstock on the very left side, and then just a narrow strip underneath the circle. After adhering it down, I noticed I cut that narrow cardstock strip just a tiny bit too long, since I can see it peeking out on the right side of the banner. Luckily, I was able to peel up the banner and trim off that extra bit. The ephemera piece I'll be adding is a gnome holding a bouquet of sunflowers and sitting on a wooden bench. I will pop up the ephemera using more small and large foam squares from scrapbook.com. Make sure to get good coverage. Don't want any areas to sag. I'll remove the release paper and add the gnome image in the inside of the stitch circle die cut. His feet and part of the bench legs will sit on top of the smaller banner. For the sentiment hello, I'll cut the right side at an angle just for some extra interest. And the left side I'm leaving a little bit longer. That way I can tuck it in underneath the gnome, and I'm putting it behind the gnome's hat. I didn't want it to stick out too far, so I did trim just a little bit more on the left side. Then I'll put glue on the back and attach the sentiment in place. For a final finishing touch, decided to add a few embellishments, and I'm using more Love from Lizzie peel-offs. This is the gold color in the mini circle style. I'll add 3 of the smallest size circles underneath the small banner in the upper right-hand corner, and then 2 small circles in the lower left-hand corner. So there is my finished card, and here are the other 3 using this design. With this card design, there are only 3 small pieces of pattern paper, so this would be perfect if you're finishing off a paper pad and all you have left are some scraps. It always helps to have super cute ephemera, makes it easy to pop together a quick and adorable card. So here's a look at card design number 3. I've already gone ahead and cut out all of the pieces, die cut out the sentiment and a couple of hearts. And the hug sentiment with shadow and hearts are from the Easy Wonder #1 add-on set. And here's a look at the set again. You can see there are 7 different hearts included and the sentiment hugs. I'm using the same pink blush pearlescent cardstock for the background. This time I cut it just a little bit smaller. It's 3 7/8 of an inch by 5 1/8 of an inch. And my black cardstock layer is A2 size. Toward the bottom of the card, I'll add some Love from Lizzie peel-offs using the same gold in the pinstripe style. I'm adding the medium and also the narrowest width. I'm going to use the grid on my craft mat to help get those nice and straight. I'll wrap the ends around the back, put adhesive on the back of the pearlescent panel and layer it on black cardstock. Now I'll put ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base. The cardstock I use for my card bases is Accent Opaque 120 pound cover weight cardstock. So it's a nice heavyweight. And I do make the card bases myself. I purchased the cardstock in bulk from a local paper store. I'll add the stitched square die cut down first, putting it in the upper left-hand corner. Then I'll add the banner on top, and the very top edge of the banner will go off the edge of the square die cut. I just like that look. I think it gives it more interest. For the circle die cut, I'll be popping it up with foam dimension. This time I'm using Scrapbook.com's 1/4 inch foam in their 1 millimeter thickness. I'll cut small pieces to put around the edge of the circle, then fill in the center with 2 more small foam pieces. I'll remove the release paper, then add the circle in the lower right-hand corner. And with this fun stripe design, you have the option of doing it horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. And I thought it would look really fun with the diagonal stripes. For the sentiment hugs, I use black cardstock for the shadow and a light yellow cardstock for the word hugs. And I love that all 4 letters are attached, so it's one piece. Super easy. I'll put glue on the back, adhere the 2 pieces together. Then I'll attach the sentiment on the stitch circle die cut. And I don't want my card to get too thick, so I'm gluing down the sentiment instead of popping it up with more foam dimension. I will be adding one of the ephemera pieces. Thought a little bee would look super sweet above the word hugs. This is what I currently have left over of the ephemera pieces. I'll select one of the smaller bees flying left. Put glue on the back, adhere it in place. And then for a final finishing touch, I'm adding 2 of the hearts. And I cut these out from some gold satin mirror cardstock from my stash. I'll add the larger heart down first, And for the smaller heart, I'll first put a tiny drop of Barely Art glue and pick up the heart using the wax tip end of Scrapbook.com's Craft Pro Pick tool. So there is my finished card, and here are the other 3 using this design. Another very simple design, and you could step it up by adding more bling, ribbon, do a little bit of ink blending on the background, lots of different options. So following the same 3 card designs, I selected 4 more sheets of pattern paper, this time focusing on the yellow, black, and white papers. I used the same 3 card designs, made 4 cards of each design, used more ephemera from the same spring gnome set. For the backgrounds, I did use more pearlescent cardstock. The first card design features white pearlescent cardstock, and the other 8 cards I used a cream pearlescent cardstock. And I will link the white and the cream cardstock in the description box. I'm not sure I can find a link for the blush pink I was using for the first set of cards. Using 8 sheets of pattern paper and a bunch of cardstock, I ended up with a total of 24 cards. The only dies I used in this video are Not Too Shabby's Easy Wonder die number 1 and the Easy Wonder number 1 add-on set. This was a really fun set of cards to make, super easy to mass produce with the Easy Wonder dies. And if you are interested in purchasing the Easy Wonder dies and the add-ons, I will have links in the description box below. And I'll also add links to the new What Buzzing pattern paper and Spring Gnomes ephemera pack. And I will be sharing another video later on featuring the Easy Wonder die number 2 and add-on pack. Both dies are so much fun, and you can mix and match the pieces from the 2 different die sets. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.